Hello, welcome back. Yeah, I realize it's been a little while since I've done a catch up on everything that's been going on, and I realize I just have to do it. Like, there's gonna be no perfect time, not in my life to be able to do it. So I just need to do it, and we'll just have to uh, stop making excuses about it being quiet or anything like that. You might just have to hear some family noise, things around the house, things like that. Hey, work from home, live at home, got a family, dogs. It's a fun house. But looking over my trading journals, about time I actually go back through and look at a couple of things. Um, but this is going to be a relatively long one. I hope at some point in time to actually be able to put like stops in between, breaks in between. That way I can quickly fast forward to a particular pair if I'm looking at as I've marked it up. So right now, I think I want to, because I'm only 39 trades in. And I usually go through 100 trades before I actually go back and do a full on review to make sure that everything's going fine. Although weekly, I try to go back through and at least see the trades that I've taken for that week. Don't know if I made it clear. I was doing the FTMO challenge. I went through that. I had about it was a 2-week trial through FTMO. They give you like a $10,000 account that you can go play and demo with, and it went relatively smooth. I think give me a second. Got somebody coming home. All right, so yeah, did have some people come home. Came home from a nice little long walk. So was talking about the FTMO challenge that I was actually on. So I did the FTMO challenge, and it's all over with now, and it seems like so ended on the 14th. $10,000 account I just said before, but I feel pretty confident in it that I would have done well. The only thing that I realized going through the process was I didn't have my lot sizes correctly. So in a couple of these trades in the very beginning, like I was still working through taking my trade or marking my trades on TradingView and then moving over to MT4 and then working through there, but at the same time still running my compounding account. And so as you can, like, my compounding account is not at all going to be using 2 lot sizes on those. And so transitioning back and forth between the two, sometimes it entered the wrong lot size and wouldn't realize it until it was too late, and it wasn't enough to get back in and do another lot size. So roughly these should have been anywhere between 2.4, 2.6, somewhere between the two. And given the 5 trades, if I actually traded, I was going to trade that last day. But once I realized I was almost done, I actually started playing a little bit differently with risk management through stop loss. And so I was playing with that. And so I actually did trade the 5th day, but because it closed the account because of the trial thing, they don't actually show up on here. So I actually did trade. I think I traded on the final Wednesday, that 14th. I had some trades that went in here, and that's actually where the rest of that loss came from. But had I done right, and it would have been about anywhere between $450 to $500 per trade, with the one loss, and then just another trade on that 5th day, that final day, I would have passed. And so I feel pretty confident about it. The benefit of doing the discipline challenge was that I got to really see how patience played a huge part of everything, and how simple trading could actually be, in regards to not trying to complicate the process or anything like that. So from the mindset from there, it's like really to start treating this more like a business versus a hobby. And so that is something that I've enjoyed. And so treating it like a business. So as coming here, part of adding to the discipline challenge was the YouTube was being accountable and recording everything that's going on so that um, I, yeah, I'm being held accountable to somebody else who can easily look back over my videos and go, um, they can basically put me on blast and be like, that's not accurate. Like you're lying. You're not doing X, Y, and Z. And then the account will speak for itself as well. Um, the thing that I learned as well. Oh hey, um, is so the discipline challenge helped with that. Um, excuse me. Um, so taking the discipline challenge has helped with that. I do realize once again that I start planning, treating it like a business and not just a hobby. Now, I enjoy marking up, and I enjoy charting. So that'll be the hobby part. And then with that, I can share anything that I've learned along the way, all the little hiccups and bumps that I've come across, and not necessarily to try to stop somebody else from hitting the same hiccups and bumps because if it's not something that I've been through, it's going to be something else. You're never going to get to a point where you can just 100% jump into this and be successful. Um, at least not in the long term, not in any sort of meaningful way. Um, and so but there might be somebody out there who's like, hey, I've hit this rut. Oh, look, Robert's hit this rut as well, and here's some of the things that he did to get out of it. Maybe I can try some of that stuff. And so I just want to share some of that stuff. Um, I don't. I know I'm a part of a lot of different groups, and I have a lot of different mentors, people that I look up to in this trading community. In this trading community, I'll say that. Who I look up to, and I've taken in concepts that they've taught me. I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I want to actually like full out teach somebody. So I'll teach what I know, but that's it because I really don't want that pressure of of I mean, it's sort of being accountable for somebody else to a little. You sort of take that on. I think teachers can probably relate to this, where as you're teaching students, if they don't do well, it sort of reflects back on you, and some teachers take that um, to heart, and so that's not something that I'm in for. I'm not in for teaching. I'm in for sharing for sure, but not teaching, and so I'll share everything that I've learned. I'll share how I see the market, how I've had some of the things that have been working that work for me, and then yeah, it's definitely not in a manner to say sorry if this this I have a feeling that this is gonna sound all sorts of choppy, and it's like, should I say that I'm pausing? Should I just pause it and then just drop? It's so if you've listened to any of my videos before, it's me, my wife, and we have 7 kids. We have one that is out of the house now. We're going to be grandparents in March. I mean, it's just we homeschool. I work from home for the most part. And so my house is a ever revolving door. I mean, we got neighborhood kids all over. We got friends. We got family, um, and so it's busy. And so it's like this is where I'm just like taking this. I'm like I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna record and try to figure it out along the way because really it's about my trading journey and sticking to that, which includes my family, which includes my life. And so it's like I can't avoid it. Um, so jump into that. So yes, one of my sons came home. He's getting ready to head over to his mom's house and go spend the weekend over there. And so we lock the doors and we have other internal locks. And even if you know the code to the house, you still can't get in without somebody else opening the door for you. So he needed that. So I did that for him. So yeah, the discipline challenge has been really nice. I will go through another FTMO challenge at some point in time. My intent is to try to pass one. I mean, not try to. I have confidence I can pass one. This right here in its short term has given me enough confidence as well to know that I can pass one. By January of 2023, and then move on to another phase, and then go from there. I would like to work with my own capital, but these prop firms, they serve a purpose. So all of this has been is working out, and so that's how that sets up. Um, I'm sticking to my trading plan. That was one thing that the discipline challenge has been really helpful with, sticking to my trading plan. And so um, I believe I've shown this before, but this is roughly my trading plan. I do zones on particular time frames, higher time frames. I have a definition for that, so to speak, rules for me to follow. So I have a higher time frame and I execute on a lower time frame. I'm drawing my zones up there, and I am sticking to those zones. And then I have a management style as well. And so all that's up there, and I've included a couple new things in this. It's like, okay, as far as like these entries, what do these entry patterns look like? Well, I've I've started to implement these, like, okay, here's some placeholders. Here's what they look like. So momentum reversals, which we get from the 1 minute trader, Justin over there, he does really well on the 1 minute time frame. Um, I've enjoyed his trading style. I've used some of it and adapted it to myself. Um, he has this thing called momentum reversals, in which case there's a key area on the 15 minute, and you're waiting for two strong candles to get up in there. A pause, which is usually what you consider indecision, a candle that has wicks on both sides that can vary in look on what that looks like, and then an engulfing candle that engulfs that pause. That's what he calls momentum reversal, and it worked pretty well majority of the time. And so the idea behind the logic of how price moves makes sense, and so I've added that to it. And so generally it would be there'd be a 15-minute zone that this would come into, um, and I take an entry after that. Um, Double tops into the same thing. Once again, you got a higher time frame zone. The rules for double tops, I have um, gotten that from Steven at the Trading Channel. Um, his rules for double tops is, you get your first entry and a push away. I think he actually has a little bit more rules on the push away. I visually, I know what it looks like, what feels comfortable for me. But then once you have your first top, you have another zone that's part of that. And as long as the next test of that zone doesn't close above it, it's valid as a double top. And so those are the entries that I would take from there. Head and shoulders, very much the same way. You have a zone on a higher time frame. You get a test one, it bounces away. You get a push further into it that's higher than test one, but then comes back and below and dips, and then comes back. And then I use the same rules as a double top for this left and right shoulder. So I draw a zone from the left and right shoulder, and as long as it respects that zone on it and comes up, tests and respects that zone without closing above it, then I will call it a head and shoulders. It's interesting because some of these things can sort of like turn into one another. So momentum reversal could end up coming back up, and if it's going to stick, it could turn into a double top. A double top, if it pushes beyond it and comes back and returns, could end up turning into a head and shoulders pattern. And a head and shoulders pattern, if it pushes up into a zone, comes up, breaks, but doesn't respect this first top, but can come up here and respect this other one, ends up becoming a double top, or could become a momentum reversal on that second location. And so there's a couple different ways, that stages that once I have a zone that I'm looking at, I have different entry criterias. I mean, roughly they're all same entry criteria. It's just a matter of I have different entry patterns that I can use to get into a trade. And then the reverse is true for buys, sells and buys. So these are just placeholders that I use. And so with that being said, I was going to go through um, all of my alerts that I've had set up. And so, once again, going through the trading plan, I draw zones. And so I've been working with a couple different zones. Definitely, I start with the daily, draw a daily zone, a 4 hour zone. And then if I'm actively watching the charts, like usually later on in the evening, because once again, I have a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever it is. So I can't be on the charts watching all the time. I can peek every now and then when alert goes off, if alert goes off in one of those higher time frames. But if I find myself looking, and I'm like, hey, I have about an hour of free time, I'll go and look at hour zones and maybe some 15-minute zones here and there. And so those will be other ones that I draw. um, I have I have a bunch of alerts that I set up, and then I have not been trying to find that process of making sure that I'm when the alert goes off that I'm actively getting ready to go look at it. It would be easier with the daily time frame in the 1 or in the 4 hour time frame, because when alert goes off, you don't necessarily have to look immediately. I mean, a daily time frame, for my rules, a daily time frame, you need at least uh, 12 candles on a lower time frame on your entry time frame to make up that higher time frame. So by all technicality, those are what, 2 hour candles. And from the patterns, like, in order for the momentum reversal, you're going to need at least one that triggers the alert, and then another one that validates the pattern. And so if you're talking about 2 hour candles, which I don't use a 2 hour, but like, in order to fit that 12 rule, it's anything greater than 12. So 2 hour candles works. 12 equal or greater than 12. There we go. So 2 hour candles work. I could use a 2 hour candle. 1 hour candles is what I would look at. And so given that, on a daily, I at least have almost 4 hours before I actually have to go back and look. On the 4 hours, usually about 5 minutes. 5 minute candles are pretty nice, as well as 15. And so, it's not so quick that you got to get back there. You can get anywhere between about 15 minutes before an alert goes off, and I possibly have to go look. And so I'm playing with that. And so I'm going to start down here at Euro CHF. And as you can see, I mean, this was back in June. What is it? Come back. Where are you at? Come here. Show me. There we go. September 8th at 5. So September 8th at 5. If I was around for it when it went off, I would try to draw these little zones in there. So basically, we had a 4 hour zone. We had a break of this zone, and then I had drawn an alert up into the area, and then basically waited. So on the 4 hours, what would this look like? Well, let's come back into replay mode, set ourselves up. We got 4 hours. So look at the 15-minute to begin with. Went into the zone on a 15-minute. Do I have anything? Not really. No, not according to these rules here. So 5-minute. 5-minute would have been my first one. As price came up to look for something, and I don't really have anything. The only thing I would have would be this momentum reversal, which is 2 candles up into the zone, an indecision, and that is a huge bearish engulfing candle, but it fits the rules. And so, the rules on the zone entries, I'm trying to go at least a 1 to 1.5, with a stop loss slightly above the zone. And so the 1 to 1.5 generally price comes back and tests the low. So if we look on the 4-hour time frame, this is the low before it came back and pushed. So you'd want price slightly above that. And then I'll generally like just the body closes here, not to the end of the wick, 'cause that's a little too much. 50% of the wick works based upon a couple of my testings, but that's what I'd be looking for, somewhere right there. So given that, stop above the zone. 1 to 2.5 is all I really needed. So 1 to 2.5, this is for the compounding. 2.5 would be, plus spread about 1 to 2.7, and then you just let it go, see what happens, see where price goes. Okay, cool. So it's like that would have won. So there's one for the books. We'll call that one a win. I'm not actually tracking any of that. Let's start tracking that, I guess. So 1.25. Got some stuff going on. So plus 1.25 Euro CHF. And this is a 4-hour, 5 minutes. So that's what I'll try to keep track like that. So now I'm going to get rid of that and move to the next one. And this is what I should have done each time it went off, and probably recorded maybe a little bit as I was going. But we have the same thing here. So we have actually 2 zones here. We have a daily zone here, which according to this looks odd cat 1 hour. Actually, it's 2 different ones. Actually, okay, so it's 1 hour. It was actually 24-hour. So I'd actually changed a 1-hour alert to a 24-hour alert. So dropping down to the hourly, come back over here, and as you can see, I was looking. I was actively looking around this time at the 1-hour zone for a possible entry. In which case, I could come back here and we can see. Okay, if this was an hourly and I was looking for 5-minute rejection for a possible entry, what would we get? Once again, using our placeholders. No momentum reversal. Do we get a double top? By all technicality, that is a double top. Yep, that is a double top. So we have the one zone and it respected the other zone, even though it only barely got in there. Stops a little bit above the zone, and 1 to 1.25. Give it in there. Come on for spreads. And we'll see as it goes. All right, so that's a loss. So -1 on OddCAD. This is interesting. And this would be the 1 hour, 5 minute. So that would be that. We push forward and price actually left on the 60-minute. Left, came up. That's where our alert for the why can't I talk? The alert for the daily came in. So this would have been a double top on the 1 hour. So stops a little bit above the zone, and a 1 to 2 point something. That would be the entry there. This one would have already kicked off. That would have been another 60 to 5. So I can drop down to the 5 for a second and see if we have anything there. We do. We have a small momentum reversal, double indecision, huge engulfing candle. But, take it as you go. Coming all the way up to 1.2, oh no, 1.25. So that would not have been hit yet. And technically we need a little bit for spread. So 1.2728. The trading rules is all that present themselves. So if it presents itself, you take it. And so maybe in two trades at the same time, a sell and a buy. There's some brokers out there allow you to do that. They would what would be considered hedging. But let's see what happens. So we get. Oh gosh, you're gonna take forever, aren't you? All right. Okay, we're gonna jump out to the 1 hour and get this guy going. Okay, so there is actually, so both of them would have worked out. It would have caused a whole lot of heartache, but they both would have worked out. So you got the one from the hourly that would have come down to 1.28. So 1.25. I know I keep saying 1.28, but I think we understand what I mean. So this was a daily. So daily 1 hour, and then a 1.25 from a 60 to a 5, 1 hour, 5 minute. And so both those would have hit, both those would have worked out. It would have been interesting to have this heartache of seeing basically you just hedged a loss in there. But whatever, it worked, right? That's interesting. So that is OddCAD. I'll clear out that one now. Move to Euro USD. Euro USD, 4 hour, and it was the 8th. 9, 1711. This is the 4 hour zone, so it's all the way over there. Let's get the replay tool over there. Let's put in, we said, so 4 hour zone, and this was at 1711. Is it 17? Oh no, it was created at 1711. It went off at 23. Okay, it went off at 23. That's why it would make sense. Okay, let's get that thing up there. So 4 hour zone down to the 5 minute. And this would have been at 11. So it would have been over here, someplace over here, right around here. Too bad I need to find a better way if I'm going to do it this way to actually leave it behind. That way I can actually see exactly where it is. Normally when they hit, I will mark that area of where it's at, but then I'm going to move the alert, especially if price breaks through and comes back, because now I need the alert for the future. And so I need to find a way to keep them there without without causing too much heartache. So let's see what we got. Okay, so I think we looked like we had a double top, which is would have been valid. Would we have gotten an entry earlier than that? No. You got two strong pushes, then you have an indecision and another indecision before you have an engulfing. Double indecisions, not part of my position or not part of my entry patterns. You have a zone, first touch of a resistance that's created, pushed away, pull back into, gives a V pattern. So, and it respects it and didn't break above it. So we are clear on that one. Get in here after the break of that, stops a little bit above the zone, and 1 to 1.2 something, and then play that out. That would have worked just fine. All right, so back to reality. Euro USD, and this was the 4 hour, 5 minute. So jump out to the 4 hour. Interestingly enough, it didn't take much. Entry was the entry. The one thing that I have, the discipline challenge did help me out with a lot was setting an alert, leaving it alone, and setting an alert properly. I was, instead of setting an alert right at the beginning of the zone, which would then force you to look as soon as the alert went off. These zones are on the higher time frame, and they're generally the wick areas. And so when price actually gets into these wick areas, or when price actually gets into the zone, the wick area is still pretty big. And my entry is more than likely, if it's going to move, it's going to fill part of that wick area in on the higher time frame with these lower time frame candles. So I don't need to be in the very beginning parts of that zone. I need to be somewhat near the middle. And so I do about 50% of the zone, is where the alerts generally go. As you can see here, generally somewhere right around the middle is where I've been putting the alerts. And so, I don't necessarily need a huge bounce out, from the lower time frames. It's just a little bounce, enough of a bounce on the lower time frame that I could probably hit my targets, before price decides to break through. And so that one worked out. It's interesting to see how small of a bounce you actually need on the lower time frame, in order to pretty much make good targets. Playing with your stop loss and everything like that has an effect. If the stop was any bigger, that would mean my target would be bigger. And so I probably would have been stopped down on this one, but the way it set up fine. And that going through this process over and over again, that felt comfortable to set my stop loss there and go. And the beauty of it is, once I set it here, all I do is on my mobile MT4, take my entry price of what I just clicked into MT4 and update the position with this stop level and with this target, and then that's it. That plays a little bit, as I was doing earlier. It's like, yes, I'm trying to go for 1.25, but my target's 1.28. That sets me up for a little bit of slippage, on either direction. Sometimes that slippage works out for my benefit, where we'll get in here and I'll start to place an entry and price will shoot up a little bit and I'll actually get a better entry before it rolls over. Sometimes it actually pushes a little bit further and I'll get a worse entry. But in the end, we're playing a numbers game. So it's eventually all going to work itself out. It has been so far. And so you've just got to get to that point of just going through the process over and over again, and then just trusting that process. And I did not mean to steal that from Rocks, but it fits. Just work yourself, make this your own, take it, own it, then trust it. You will be the subject matter expert of your trading style, and then you just gotta trust that you did due diligence. And that's where, back testing, forward testing, staying true to your trading plan, to your trading style, to everything about you, is really going to come into play. And you'll know, you can't lie to yourself. I mean, well, you could, but you'll know, you'll know quickly, actually. So that one worked out. So moving to the next one, odd CHF. This one went off at 2350. That would be over here somewhere. This is a 4-hour zone, so we're going to drop down to the 5-minute. So let's drop down to the 5-minute, see what we got. Oh, no, probably went too far, because this went off at 2350. So it was actually one of these, this actual candle right here. So what do we got? Well, we don't have a momentum reversal. Okay, so we'd be looking for a double top. We do get a tag of the second top. This is kind of messy. When you look at it holistically from top to bottom, you actually get a few different ping down, ping up, ping down, not fully up, and then come back in. So I'd be a little bit questioning on this one. The other double top, as you saw, and as you see here, is some sort of V-like pattern. There isn't much hesitation between these two touches. And so I almost treat head and or double tops, double bottoms as like two back-to-back attempts relatively in quick succession. I want to push away and then an immediate attempt. I don't want to push away and then a pause for a second and then come up. That to me is different than what a double top represents. As like buyers are trying to push it in, sellers step in and push them away, and then buyers immediately try again, and then by the second time, that's why double tops generally work. The second time it rolls over. If not, usually you can roll into a triple top, in which case, given the way I'm placing my entries and my stops and targets, a triple top, as long as it doesn't go too crazy, still generally works okay and will keep me in. So no bearish candle here, no entry. So let's see what this possibly turns into. This could possibly turn into a head and shoulders. Now it did not. We've broken above the zone. I look at this very carefully to see how that works. And it doesn't look like we got an entry. I don't like, you can look at that and go, yeah, but that's a double top. You got your really small zone there, a test, and then a bearish candle afterwards. Price has already come up above the zone that I drew. The only time I would look at it as a double top is if price immediately came from through this zone and immediately broke back in. That on a higher time frame sort of looks like a wick. So if we look at the 15 minutes, that's roughly what this is right here. It's a wick, maybe even, I won't go any further, but breakouts, breakbacks in generally looks like a wick on the higher time frame, which is fine. Wicks are great. And then, yeah, so yes, it worked, but I didn't feel comfortable looking at it on replay mode. I don't feel comfortable now, even after it would have worked out. I would rather not take these trades. I'd rather them be in my zone, because once again, I'm placing my stop above the zone. This is already broken through the zone, so where am I going to place it? I really have nothing to work with, and I would just be arbitrarily placing it somewhere. There are other ways that you can create stop loss placements, ATRs, you can do candle size, you can do wick height. There's all sorts of ways that you could create stop loss placements, but they don't fit my trading style. So nothing here for odd CHF. Even though it looked like it would have been successful. So odd USD. Coming to odd USD, we have one at 0 o'clock in the morning. Good gracious. Is that this one? 99? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's go back to it. So coming here, we have, so is that, why are you not showing me? September 7th. That is not September 7th. This is September 7th, but this is, oh, this was created September 7th. It was triggered September 9th. Okay. That would make, okay, that makes more sense. Where is this zone? Is this a daily zone? I don't know what happened to this. I don't know if I blow this zone away. I have the marking there, but it's like I don't have anything to reference. It's a 4 hour, so I've been looking on the 5 minute. But it's like I don't have a zone to work with. I have no idea where it went. Nor, I mean, that's it. That's a really big zone. but I wouldn't have accounted the whole wick because this is actually where you get some sort of, so that fits there. That fits a little bit better. Really big zone. So let's go down here to the 5 minutes and actually see what we got now. All right. So we had a test. It triggered at 13:25, 13:25. That's early in the morning. So here, this triggered it. Cool. So we have a top, pullback. We got a W, not a V. So no entry there. Just in case we were like, no, that's you would have taken that. Okay, well let me zoom out a little bit. See what this looks like. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I'm saying I wouldn't have taken it, but let's go. I actually want something prettier. We'll see. I'm gonna push away. We don't get that. Now we might have, this is a really condensed head and shoulders, but if we can get a test of this, now this is a, and I'll zoom in, but you come over a little bit. As you can see, it broke away from that. It's very, very small, very, very small. And I got to make sure that, there we go. So very small, did break away. Now we just need a test. We need a test and not a close above it. Cool, we're still good. Can I get a selling candle? That is an ugly selling candle, but it fits the ugly rules. So we will take that. There. Once again, stops up here. And then 1, 2, 2 point something. And then see where that goes. Push up, push out. Oh, lost. Lost that. Ooh, stop that. I guess I don't need to zoom it over just so that you can easily see that I lost that one. No question about it. So, -1 from odd USD. And it's spelled odd. And this is the 4-hour, 5 minutes. So moving on to the next one, GBP JPY. Looks like it triggered at 11:55. That's not the right date then. On the 9th. On the 9th? On the 9th. Really? Way over there on the 15 minutes? So this is the 1 hour. So this would have been when I was playing on the 1 hour. There we go. Let's get that replay button going. So price would have broken down, had an alert in there. Too bad they don't tell you what the you know what I mean, the price of when it was actually triggered. I know the other alert does, this does, but that one is harder to clean up when I need to clean my my charts. You actually got to go through, I don't know, maybe there might be another way to do it here, but yeah, I like the rays. They're easier to clean up. So dropping down to the 5 minute, we will wait for 11:55. So 11:55, really? 11:55. Okay. Where did this go then? 11:55. It must have been right up there above, even above this guy right here. So it was high. Okay. So 11:55 would have put us here. Triggered. Nothing came in. Now we're above the zone. So no trade. No trade. Probably playing with the 15-minute lower time frame. So I was actively watching this at the time. um, had trades going off and things like that. And like I can take an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes to look at something, take a little break. Um, so no trade there. Euro AUD at 5 on the 11th. On 1 hour, there we go. On the 11th. Oh, that would have been Sunday, right? Yeah, that would have been Sunday open. I don't do, let's go back to the trading plan just so we can see. Um, Monday through Friday, days per week. I don't do Sunday. um, so nix that one. I'm trying to get in a better habit of actually just marking my charts on Sunday. Um, and then like early Monday morning, setting alerts after I see how Sunday's already played out for what I already had planned. Um, so what are you doing? 12:53 on the night. Okay, 4 hour zone. 12:53. 12:53. Yeah. Okay, where are you at? '53. I might have actually taken this trade. All right. 12:53 on the ninth. We have two candle push-ups. Indecision. When you look at it, you got wicks on both sides. Um, ooh, I zoomed in way too much. My bad. Reset. Um, Wicks on both sides with a strong momentum candle. Um, so stops above that and see where it goes. All right. 1 to 2.5. Oh, well, no, we need to go further. 2.9. Ooh, what are you going to do? Oh, oh, that's sad. uh, well, can't do nothing about that. All right. So -1. GBP USD. 4 hour, 5 minute. So yeah, you could say, yeah, you would have closed that. But would I though? If I was actually there, maybe. But if not, and it was set and forget, and I just let it go, well then it would have stopped me out. There's no question about that. And so you can't look at it and go, well, yeah, look how close you are. You should just count it though. Am I going to get in the habit of closing trades early? Because then I can't say that I'm going for a 1.25 on all my trades if I get into the habit of closing my trades early. Um, that's a different management style that I don't have. Um, there are there are other. I mean, I do have a management style here. When it breaks the other side of the zone, if it breaks on the other side, and I'm able to close it, then I close it. If price closes beyond the entry zone, exit trade immediately. So for some reason, if my stop is a little bit bigger and price closes in this but hasn't triggered me out, I'm going to close it. And so even with that being said, there was no way for that to happen here. So that's a loss. So it's all right. Moving to the next one. What do we got? We have, why aren't you showing me? There we go. 2:17 in the morning. 2:17 in the morning. Is that this one right here? The same date? Why are you doing this to me? The 9th at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it is over here somewhere. Dude, we have had a $217. That's interesting. All right, I'm gonna count it. The momentum reversal is higher than the other test. Um, Granted, I like the momentum reversal coming in on the first, not necessarily the second, but it is higher. So I'll count it. But that's another loss. Oh no, we're losing. Losing is part of life. In this game, it's all about numbers. So, glad I accidentally closed that one out. This one triggered the 12th at 2:52. At 2. Should probably use that instead. The 12th at 2. Get out of my way. Looks like we had so that's the 5. There's a 5 there too. I don't know where that alert went, unless it reused it, but it doesn't look like there would have been anything. Maybe you can play this double top, depending on when this alert actually went off. If the alert didn't go off until later on, then that would have been missed. So here we have this guy, and it just blew right through the zone. No entry there. USD. We got a lot of them. Yeah, I might not be able to go through them all today. Yeah, might have to call that, and maybe get better with it later on. Actually, think we might do that. I mean, as it sits right now, we are 5 up, 4 down, so 1%. I believe this was all in the course of a week, maybe less, a couple days. I don't know when the fortunately I don't know when the first one went off. I guess we can go back to Euro CHF and see what that one looked like. It was a 4-hour, 5-minute zone. This one right here. So the 8th. So from the 8th to not even finishing the 9th, we're up 1%. So, I mean, that's, I don't know. We'll have to see that going forward. So, yeah, I think right now I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go ahead and clear off all my charts, clear off all these alerts, and then I'm going to go ahead and go through and mark up for next week, because it's Friday, the daily and 4H zones that I'll be looking for.